What's up guys, it's Humphrey. So if you'll notice right here, I actually have a picture of myself when I was like 16 and I'm trying to do a model pose on the beach in Panama. Now, if you're a teen like I used to be and you're wondering where to get started and invest, or if you're just someone super new to investing in the financial world, I made this video just for you, and I hope that this video can actually bridge that gap. Today, we'll talk about everything you need to get your financial basis covered, how to increase your income, and how and where to invest. By the end of this video, you should have some actionable things that you can do to get your financial life started, and this is the video that I wish I had when I was this age on the beach. So make sure to hit that like button, harness your attention span for longer than that of a goldfish, and we'll get started. If you're new to the channel, my name is Humphrey, and I make personal finance and investing content here on YouTube, so thank you for being here. All right, so the first thing, actually, let me just get rid of this guy. This is a little bit creepy if it's just right here. So the first thing that you need to do as a teenager, if you're over the age of 18 years old, is that you need to get a bank account to get started. This seems pretty straightforward, but a lot of people aren't too sure on what to focus on when it comes to opening a bank account. The most important thing, in my opinion, is to get a bank account with no maintenance fees or no crazy account minimums that you need to maintain. If you're a teen and in school, a lot of banks will have great savings and checking accounts for those that are in school and will often waive those maintenance fees and minimums up until you're the age of 24 or the time that you graduate. Now, I personally like going to a brick and mortar bank, one that I can actually walk into. So Chase Bank has a lot of locations and is a pretty good one to get started with because they have a student banking account that qualifies for no monthly service fees for up to 5 years. And then after 5 years, Chase offers a total checking account that has a $0 fee if you just keep a $1,500 account balance, which should hopefully be doable by the time you're 24. Bank of America is also another good competitor. They have very similar offerings to Chase, so make sure when you're choosing a bank, you choose one that's local to you and pretty convenient. Just do a little bit of research online on their websites. You should be able to find an account that can waive fees pretty easily. So another option, if you don't want to go with a big bank, is to go with a local credit union. A credit union is typically regional and offers better customer service than a big box bank and usually no fees for opening an account. The downside is that because it's a local credit union, if you ever go traveling places, it'll be nearly impossible to find that credit union's branch, and there might actually be some ATM fees you might get hit with. Now, the importance of a bank account cannot be understated here. You're definitely going to need a bank account in your name to start getting paid, and you'll also be using this account to fund your investment accounts, which we'll talk about later in this video. The next thing I'd recommend is opening up a credit card so that way you can actually start building your credit. Credit might not be important for investing in the stock market, but one day if you want to invest in real estate, having a good credit score is going to work wonders for you. For example, let's say you want to buy a $500,000 house. You can put 20% down, but you'll have a mortgage of around $400K. If you have a good credit score, you might be able to qualify for a 0.5% interest rate difference when it comes to your mortgage's interest rate. A rate of 3% over 30 years means that you're going to pay roughly $207K in interest versus a 3.5% mortgage rate on the same loan will actually be over $246,000 in interest. So just by having a good score, you're going to be able to save over $39,000 over the course of that loan itself. All right, so in terms of how to kickstart your credit, especially when you don't have any credit when you're younger, is to basically apply for what's called a secured credit card. A secured card requires a deposit of around $200, but in exchange, they're going to let you spend money on that card in order to build credit. And then after about 6 to 12 months, your deposit is returned to you, and then you'll go to a regular credit card. Some good beginner cards include the Discover It secured card, as well as the Discover Student Cashback credit card, which is, if you're in college, has way better perks. Now, when it comes to a credit card, the best hack that I have for you guys is just to build your credit by spending $5 to $20 on it every single month and pay it off in full every month just to get the on-time payments. As you build up more and more on-time payments, your credit score naturally goes up, and by the time you're ready to invest in real estate, your credit score should be over the score of 750 to qualify for the best rates. This roughly takes about 6 months to a year, so if you make all your on-time payments and you keep your overall credit utilization low, that's going to be the best bet to build your credit quickly. Okay, so assuming you have your credit card and bank account, now it's time to get into the fun part of the video, which is how to increase your income, because you're going to need income to invest, as well as where to invest in and what types of accounts to invest in. So first, let's start with income. One of the things you want to focus on your entire life, but especially when you're younger, is making more money. Making money seems difficult, but the way that I like to think about it is that if you can provide value in a marketplace, people are going to pay you for that. The more unique your value is, the more you're going to get paid. So let me give you a really basic example, and then we'll scale it all the way up. Let's say you leave for a vacation or holiday and you have a nice little King Charles Cavalier dog. Well, you need to put your dog in a doggy hotel, which could cost you $50 a night. That's pretty expensive, but what if you found a girl next door, someone by the name of Emma that you know that can dog sit for $25 a night? That way you're saving half the money and Emma's making money. So they're providing a of value to you, which is that you're getting someone to watch your dog and at a cheaper rate than what the market is charging. Okay, so Emma's making 25 bucks a day dog sitting, but what sort of work would take her to $200 a day, $500 a day, or even $5,000 a day? How can someone make that much money? Well, I would argue that the more specialized your skill set is, the more that you're gonna be able to command in the job market, you're just gonna be able to make more money. Like, you wouldn't pay someone like a rocket scientist 50 bucks a day, would you? You would pay them a little bit more than that. And the reason that you would pay a rocket scientist a lot of money is because that person is going to ensure that your rocket doesn't blow up upon liftoff. Now, when a space program costs billions of dollars, it just kind of makes sense to pay a rocket scientist a lot of money, especially if they're going to ensure the safety of your liftoff. That scientist is making more because he or she has specific knowledge in that space. And as my favorite podcaster and business philosopher says, quote, specific knowledge is knowledge that you cannot be trained for. If society can train you, it can train someone else and replace you. So the less replaceable you are, the more that you're going to get paid. So try to look for opportunities to build this type of specific knowledge to increase your income over time. Now, to get more specific knowledge, Naval says this: when specific knowledge is taught, it's through apprenticeships, not schools. I like to interpret this quote as basically specific knowledge is taught by doing, not by theory. Schools are going to teach you theory, but by actually doing something, it'll actually make you better at it and you'll actually learn those skills for real. I'd highly recommend you check out his podcast and entire website. It really helped shape who I am today and allowed me to actually make more income personally. All right, guys, so I'm back. You may have noticed that my shirt changed. That's because I actually lost the second part of this video, so I am refilming it today. Anyways, so you're making income now. Let's talk about 3 ways that you can invest that money when you're young to really take advantage of your youth and time. If you're young, you can afford to take on more risk, and the best time to do it is now. So let's actually talk about investments in order of risk. The first and most riskiest way to invest right now is cryptocurrency. If ultimately you believe that cryptocurrency changes the landscape of finance in the future, say 20 or 30 years down the line, then getting in now while it's still early is probably going to be beneficial if things keep up the way that they've been going. Now, personally, I have a really long-term view and mindset when it comes to crypto. I want to invest in cryptocurrencies that I fundamentally believe in and will change the way that finance operates. So if I was a teen, I'd be investing in projects that aim to do that exact goal. I'd start with looking into the blue chip projects like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano. These are still going to be really highly volatile and speculative, but at least these 4 are in the top 10 of the crypto market caps, so they're going to be less volatile than other smaller tokens. If we actually pull up coinmarketcap.com right now, the total crypto space currently is worth about $2.5 to $3 trillion. That might seem like a lot of money to you based on how large it actually sounds, but in actuality, Apple, the company, is worth close to the entire crypto market cap at around $2.44 trillion. In addition to that, the total value of the entire gold market is $10.5 to $11 trillion. So I think that crypto has a lot of room to grow, and technically we're still early. It was only this year that Bitcoin started to gain widespread adoption, almost 12 years after it was conceptualized, and other altcoins have not really been around for that long, so it's only a matter of time until they become more mainstream as well. If you are interested in learning more about cryptocurrency, I have a lot of videos on my channel about crypto that you can check out. Now, because of the volatile nature of crypto, it only makes up between 5 to 15% of my overall portfolio on any given day. So if I had $10,000 to invest, $9,000 might be in the traditional market and $1,000 of that would be in crypto. Just know that when you're young, you may want to allocate some percentage of your portfolio to crypto, but I wouldn't go too crazy. That's just me. 10% is a good place to start. The next way to invest when you're young is to pick some growth stocks that you can hold onto forever. Even better if you can invest in growth stocks in a Roth IRA, which is a retirement account in which your earnings and profits are going to grow tax-free. That means that when you retire and you withdraw all the earnings on this account, you won't pay any taxes on it. Since you're investing for the long term and the gains are tax-free in a Roth IRA, you want to invest in stuff that will pay out a lot of dividends or appreciate a lot at a regular rate, like growth stocks. For example, if you bought a share of Apple stock in 1980, your $22 investment would have multiplied by at least 1,281 times as of August 2020. When I updated those numbers for today's value, that $22 would have been multiplied by 1,511x. So if you had 100 shares of Apple in 1980, that means your $2,200 investment is now worth $3.3 million. And if you had to pay taxes on that capital gain, that would be almost $660,000 in taxes. That could all be avoided, by the way, if you just held that stock within a Roth IRA. So going growth stocks as a teen usually pays off if that company will still be around in 20 or more years, and particularly in a Roth IRA, it can pay off tremendously if the gains are big and you can shelter those taxes. The third way to invest in the lower risk than the other 2 options is to invest in diversified investments that get you exposure to different sectors. For example, real estate investment trust or REITs, index funds, or ETFs ETFs that focus on different sectors. A real estate investment trust, or REIT, is a company that owns a portfolio of commercial real estate. These are usually traded on the market, so that means that you can just buy the shares of them, just like buying a stock of a company. Now, owning a REIT also means that you don't need to own physical real estate. You can just buy shares of that REIT and you get exposure to the popular real estate asset class. REITs are required to pay 90% of their income back to their shareholders, aka you, as dividends, which is also powerful as a passive income generator as well. An index fund is a type of pool investment that you can buy in your brokerage account. An ETF is basically the same thing as an index fund. It just has slight differences in how it trades. We talk a lot about index funds and ETFs on this channel, but the most popular ETF and index fund people invest in is one that tracks the S&P 500. If you buy one ETF, such as ticker symbol VOO, by buying that one fund, you're going to get exposure to the 500 companies that are in the S&P 500. The S&P has generated an average return of 8% per year since it was actually created, so you know that if you just invest consistently in this fund over a long period of time, that the 8% a year is just going to compound your growth and your investment like crazy. One of the main ways of wealth generation is to continually build your income and invest a portion of that consistently. Now, if you can do that, you're going to be way ahead in life and on your way to financial freedom. If you want more info on which index funds and how to allocate your funds, I actually have a lot of videos on those on this channel, so just make sure to subscribe and check out the links in description below for more. All right, guys, I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if this was a good crash course on how to invest for teens, and what you want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.